YouTube channel. Today we're cooking up one of my favourite brunch dishes, which is Eggy Crumpets. It's a dish that I've cooked for a number of years. It's a real crowd pleaser, always a great dish if you've got a house full of people, because you can cook it en masse and it's quite easy to serve it all at once. It's slightly elevated in terms of your classic eggy bread, and for those not familiar, eggy bread is essentially just bread soaked in egg and then fried in a pan. The crumpets elevate it a bit and add a nice fluffiness. And I think it was Jamie Oliver that I have to credit for this, like many of my recipes, that I first saw do this. And there's lots of variations. Today we're gonna go with my go-to sort of comfort dish. Great after a late night, good after a night out. Obviously I don't drink alcohol, but certainly for people that might have a minor hangover, this is a good one. And it's essentially eggy crumpets with nice crispy, streaky smoked bacon with some maple syrup. A healthier, slightly healthier dish. I mean, obviously crumpets aren't the healthiest of things, but a slightly healthier way to do this would be to do the eggy crumpets with some nice roasted cherry tomatoes and some sliced avocado. You could do the crumpets with a bit of cheese as well, and a bit of Worcestershire sauce as a different way of doing them. But for me, this is the perfect combination because you've got the nice fluffy, hearty, eggy crumpets, you've got the fat and the crispiness of the bacon, and then the sweetness of the maple syrup. Some fresh chives on top. It's very straightforward. You don't need many ingredients. I personally have never made crumpets. I am aware of how you make them and there is quite a lot of effort involved. So for me, I've just gone and bought some fairly good quality ones. These are from Waitrose. There are a few ingredients in here that I probably wouldn't ideally love to see, but I would say they're pretty good. Then we've got some nice organic eggs from 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒅. We've got some streaky smoked bacon from our local butchers in our village. I think when it comes to bacon, when you're serving bacon with an egg dish, I always think it works better with streaky because you can get it really crispy and there's a real crunch to it. If it's a bacon sandwich, I'll always normally go for your classic bacon. I'm not actually sure what the term is. Not streaky, basically, but sometimes we'll mix streaky in. But for this dish, streaky is the way forward. Smoked, I always think, is the way forward. It's a bit like butter. I don't really know why you would make unsalted butter. Similarly, unsmoked bacon is a bit boring in my opinion, so smoked bacon. We've got a really good maple syrup. Maple syrup is one of those things that we went on a bit of a journey with, much like honey, where you've really got to watch out for what's in your maple syrup. A lot of the shop bought ones are like essentially a corn syrup. There's not a lot of maple in them, they're blended. You want to get a maple syrup that's legit. I'm not going to try and pronounce this brand. I'll link it down below. It's not cheap, but it is from Canada, and it's insanely good quality. Other than that, we're going to get some fresh chives from the garden, and it's very straightforward. And as I say, you can elevate this dish in any way. You could even fry an egg with the eggy crumpets. That would be quite nice with the yolk. But I think this is almost sort of like in between doing pancakes with bacon and eggy bread, and it's just a really nice dish on a Saturday or a Sunday for a bit of indulgence. For this recipe, those that follow the channel know that one of my many weaknesses is that I'm not great at recipes. I don't really follow recipes, and I'm not good at regurgitating recipes to you as watchers. But for this, we've got 6 crumpets. Now, to be honest, I'll probably have 3. So if I was making brunch for Josie and I probably would make these 6, and I'd have 3, Josie would have 2, and maybe we'd have 1 left over, or we'd put 1 to one side. I would definitely go for at least 2 per person, and we've got 6 eggs. So we're going to use 6 eggs. Obviously, they vary in size. Always like to use free-range eggs. Always look for organic if you can. I think when it comes to organic, eggs is probably one of the easiest swaps because I think it's only a matter of 10 or 20p per egg to go for organic versus non-organic, whereas other organic produce obviously is quite a jump in the price. So we've got those. So I'm going to basically, like you would with the scrambled egg, we're going to crack those in here. We're going to whisk it up, and then we're going to soak the crumpets in here. Then we're going to get the bacon on and get that nice and crispy, and then we're going to take the bacon off and we're going to cook the crumpets in their egginess in the pan with the bacon fat, and it's going to be lovely. Obviously, if you are vegetarian or vegan or don't like bacon, you can just do this without using bacon. I'd maybe add, well, if you're veggie, I'd add a little bit of butter to the pan for a bit of fat. If you're vegan, I imagine you could probably add a little bit of coconut oil, which would be quite nice. And if you are, of course, as I said earlier, you could have it with avocado. If you're veggie, you could have it with cheese, feta cheese, cherry tomatoes. There's lots of ways of doing this. But anyway, let's get cracking. Okay, we're gonna wanna beat the eggs, get this mixture nice and mixed. You won't find too much cooking terminology on this channel. Okay, now it's really straightforward. You're gonna get your crumpets, get them open. I can't do it. Use a knife. Okay. Right, get the crumpets into the mixture, just dip them in. And I always find it's nice to let these soak for a few minutes beforehand, and you want all the egg mixture to go into all the little crevices and little holes in your crumpets. Be interested to know, because I know that, albeit on my relatively small YouTube channel, when compared to my lovely wife, that we have got quite a lot of people following this channel in the US. I'd be interested to know if crumpets are a big thing in the US. I'm not sure if they are or not. I'm sure that you can get them, but I think they are quite a British thing. But I guess an equivalent, you could do this with muffins. Breakfast muffins, I mean, not obviously sweet muffins. So we're gonna mix these in and just let them sit and soak.
People get freaked out by the holes in crumpets, don't they?
What, people don't like crumpet holes? Are you listening to this? I mean, one of my favourite scenes, if you've ever seen This Country, you will be familiar. It's a mockumentary set, actually, ironically, just down the road from here. But if you've ever seen that, one of the iconic scenes is Kerry.
Mum!
Who is one of the main characters, the protagonist. She loses her crumpet holes for all of 30 seconds, and it's quite a moment.
There's no holes in my crumpets! There's no holes in my crumpets!
We'll turn it over!
Oh yeah, no.
If you don't know what I mean, look it up. It is quite funny, and it is a great series. Okay, so we're gonna leave those for a second. Yeah. Did you find your crumpet holes? Yeah, I did. Yeah. Oh, good. I am glad. So put those to one side, and then get your bacon. Now, the key thing with crispy, streaky bacon in a pan is you want the pan nice and hot, much like you would when you're cooking a steak or pan frying anything. You want the pan nice and hot. But unlike when you're cooking a steak, with streaky bacon, there's plenty of fat on here, so you don't really need to add any olive oil to the pan for that bit of it. We'll be using a bit of olive oil when it comes to actually cooking the crumpets, but you don't need olive oil at this stage. So we're gonna get the pan on there, leave it for a few minutes, test it by, testing the temperature with your hand. And we're gonna get this nice and crispy, and then we're gonna put it to one side. Okay, now we're gonna get the bacon on, and things are gonna start to smell rather magical. Oh, that's bloody lovely, mate. Okay, we're gonna get some nice fresh chives, something that anyone can grow in their garden, even if you've got a tiny little patio or balcony. Chives are really straightforward and easy to grow. We've got a plentiful supply over here. Let's take a few of them like that. Don't need a huge amount. For now, you can just leave that to one side. It should stay warm enough, but obviously you could put it in a little roasting tin and just gently keep it warm on top of the Aga or in the oven at the very end. But I like to use a bit of kitchen roll just because it soaks up some of the oil and fat. Now, the exciting bit is the crumpets are going to go into the bacon fat on the Aga or on the hob, and they should start to go crispy pretty quickly. I would just keep an eye on these, rough timings, 3 or 4 minutes on each side, but let's see how they go, keep checking on them, and you want to try and use as much of this egg mixture as possible. Okay, so there you go. Keep an eye on them. When it starts going nice and crispy like that, it's time that you can start turning them over. Smelling rather good. Now, at this point, I'd probably leave them and get your chives prepped and get all your plates and everything ready to serve. But as I say, if you've got a couple of frying pans, you could do 2, and that would be enough for 6 or 8 people. Okay, now we're gonna get the chives chopped. So say, I wouldn't come to my channel for knife skills, but the key thing with chives is you want to keep them together and you want to have nice, smooth, even motions with a really sharp knife to keep them nice and fluffy. You don't want mashed up chives. You want them to be nice and fluffy, just for a nice dusting at the end. Now, I think from start to finish, that's genuinely taken about 15 minutes, which I think is probably one of the quickest brunch dishes you could create. So, it's really straightforward, really easy, and a guaranteed crowd pleaser. So all we're gonna do is get the crumpets plated up like this. Now, I've not seasoned the egg at any point here. I personally don't actually think you need salt added to this because you've got the bacon that's going to be quite salty and the fat in here, but obviously seasoned to taste. What we're going to do is we're going to get the bacon just on top like that. Then we're going to give a nice good glug of maple syrup. Obviously, if you're serving for guests, maybe let them do this bit, but you can never have too much. And then, finally, your fresh chives, which, when combined with the sweetness of the maple syrup, just work really nicely. Once again, to taste, and it really is as straightforward as that. And there you are, ready to serve. Definitely a crowd pleaser. Whenever we've served these, when we've had friends staying over who haven't had them before, they've often it's one of those dishes that you cook that they think a lot more work and effort goes in, but as you've just seen, it's extremely easy. Anyone can make these, and they're very wholesome and filling and leave you feeling sort of very satisfied at the end. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna go and eat these in the garden. Thank you for watching. Thank you for putting up with my ramblings. Thank you for all the support on the channel. We've got a lot more planned. We've got some adventures away from the house planned that are quite exciting, which I'll share more information on my Instagram soon. But to keep up to date, make sure you're subscribed, like and comment, and let me know what you'd like to see in future videos. And I will see you in the next one.